கடவுள் வாழ்த்தோட ஆரம்பிக்கணும். இப்போ இந்த தமிழ் மொழியில எவ்வளவு ஒரு இனிமை பாருங்க. 14ஆம் நூற்றாண்டுல விநாயகர் அகவல் எழுதினவங்க ஔவையார். எல்லை இல்லா ஆனந்தம் அளித்து அல்லல் களைந்தே அருள் வழிகாட்டி சத்தத்தினுள்ளே சதாசிவம் காட்டி சித்தத்தினுள்ளே சிவலிங்கம் காட்டி அணுவிற்கணுவாயப்பாலுக்கப்பாலாய் தத்துவ நிலையை தந்தனை ஆண்ட வித்தக விநாயகா விரைகள் சரணி. கம்பர் சிறந்தவர். அவர் சரஸ்வதி விநாயகர் விநாயகருடைய கடாட்சம் இல்லாமல் எந்த ஒரு காரியத்தையும் துவங்க மாட்டாங்க. இந்தியா முழுக்க இந்துக்களுக்கு உள்ள இது. அது நான் இந்துக்கள் தான் நினைச்சேன். அது மட்டும் இல்ல, பல.
Then he continues as follows. This Pattimanram is not carried on by myself, but by Goddess Saraswati, who gives strength to our tongues to speak the right words. Next, let's pray to Lord Muruga, son of Lord Ishvara. Judge then sings Tiruppugal by Arunagirinathar. Then he continues, during the situation like this, it's important to seek the blessings of Muruga. Nextly, let's pray the Lord who resides in Tirupparkadal. Nalayira Divya Prabandham is a beautiful poem dedicated to Lord. Tamil language has been inclusive and has all the culture's goodness. Not only modern Tamil, but also during the ancient days. The kings have been very tolerant to the language. That is why it is called as a classical language. When the first Sangam of Tamil happened in Pandya's rule, it is believed that Soman, that is, Lord Ishvara himself has organized the Sangam. Then, Judge sings 3 stanzas of Thiruvaimoli from Nalayira Divya Prabandham and continues as follows. Many people are suffering in this pandemic situation, but we cannot help in this situation since we are locked down inside our homes. How great the poets were to sing a poem thinking of these situations years before. They say if we sing these 10 stanzas, we will get rid of any illness. I have sung 7 before starting the session, and now I have sung 3, so I have sung 10. Lord, please help us to overcome this situation. So we have seen how both Saivam and Vainavam have nurtured Tamil. Tamil language is like a mother to us. As said in Tamil Thai Valthu, she is always young. Next is from Islam. Judge sings the song from Sira Puranam, Kandam 1, written by Umar Pulavar. Whatever religion you take, Tamil will have its own sweetness in it. Mother Tamil is always young because of her warmth towards all the religions. Whoever comes with her, she treats them as her children. Next is from Christianity. Judge sings a song from Thembavani, a poetical work of Virama Munivar on the life of Saint Joseph, the earthly father of Jesus Christ. Next is from Buddhism, that is 10th century. When we take Avvayar, people have different beliefs. Few say that she lived 600 years before, whereas others estimate her lifetime before 4,000 years. Few others also say that there were many Avvayars in different time periods. Saying this, Judge sings a song from Kundalakesi, one of the 5 epic books of Tamil. He says, if we think about the meaning of this song, there will be no deficit of materials. The book Kundalakesi, one of the Aimberum Kopiyam, was made by Natarajan during the 10th century. It was based on the Buddhist principles. Next, let us get into the subject. There are two important Tirukurals written by Valluvar explaining the importance of the help. First one goes as follows. மகன் தந்தை காற்றும் உதவி இவன் தந்தை என்னோற்றான் கொல்லனும் சொல், which means a father doesn't expect anything from a son except the words of praise about his character and his deeds from the people of society. Next kural goes like, பயன் தூக்கார் செய்த உதவி நயன் தூக்கின் நன்மை கடலின் பெரிது. It explains that when we help someone, we should not expect anything in return. If we are expecting, then we are just doing a business and not helping. So, we are going to discuss about this topic, help, in this Pattimanram. We have two teams. The first team explains that materialistic help is greater than the physical help, and the other team fights opposite, that the physical help is greater. The speakers have prepared well on their topics. Going with the words of a modern guru, our help should be loved by all and it should not hurt anyone. So this is the protocol of today's Pattimanram.
மிக வேகமான
First speaker is Mr. C.S. Sankar from the team Materialistic Help is Greater. Now, the translated words of Mr. Shankar's speech. It is a wonderful opportunity to discuss during this lockdown period, as we are fearing about receiving the essential supplies and the number of death cases related to COVID-19 in United States of America. The judge of the Pattimanram has done a great job in preparing this concept and giving us the title before a week well in advance. When I was in dilemma whether to join or not, I am overwhelmed to see the participant count is more than the planned for per team. Judge explained well about this topic, and he, along with everyone else, knew that this world is for the people who possess materialistic wealth. I have a speaker alongside me who is more professional and experienced than me when it comes to Pattimanram. I am working as a director in automobile parts manufacturing company. It has approximately 40 employees. I am basically from a finance background. Manufacturing sector is something which I took it as a challenge and winning it till now. Maybe now I am in a position of deciding the salaries of 450 people, but who gives this money is someone far away from us who owns the shares of this company. I am not a shareholder. In fact, the company also runs pharmaceutical business which gives them nearly 40% profit. It is very difficult to get that much amount of profit in this automobile parts. Though everyone is working hard physically day and night, all are doing it for themselves. But the owner or shareholder of the company has invested in this sector which feeds 450 families, even though he knew pharmaceutical will bring him more money. This shows his generosity. Even in this lockdown, the government is planning to provide people 1,000 rupees, which is a form of materialistic help. The doctors are fighting hard to serve the people, but still we are waiting for the materialistic help in the form of rapid testing kits, which is yet to be arrived. As of now, we have tested in lakhs, but considering our population, we have to screen more people in terms of crores. For that, we need more help in terms of material. Let us take flood as an example. During that time, volunteers can only serve pot of people, that too on a humanitarian basis. But only the materials given as a relief will help the after-effect scenario. The contributions which we made to the CM and PM relief funds will help the people to come out of that economical crisis. Even your country's PM has planned to deposit $750 a week since he knew the importance of materialistic wealth. Even in the cinema industry, producer plays the most important role and holds responsibility for the project. Though it involves high talented technicians' work, only the producer holds the major responsibility. In Mahabharata, Karnan is loved by the people because of his materialistic help he made. Bhiman is strong physically but still waits for someone to order him to do. Help should be done voluntarily like Karnan. For the orphanages, people who donate are the most important persons. You can see the beggars are rare in India as well as in our state Tamil Nadu since we have many NGOs who take care of the orphans and others who have no financial support in their life. We may criticize few NGOs for converting their religion into Christianity, but still they are run by the financial aid provided by the foreign people. One thing which comes under the physical help is blood donation. But even that blood will be sold by the hospital to which the recipient have to pay the money. Tiruvalluvar has even stated that this world will talk bad about the people if they don't have the materialistic wealth in spite of having every other good quality. In 6 out of 10 Tirukkurals related to materialistic wealth, he says about the importance of money. Even now, we are able to make the supply of hydroxychloroquine tablets to United States of America only because we possessed that materialistic wealth. Even the richest country will be poor if they don't have that particular product which is needed for the moment. In another Kural, Thiruvalluvar states that though love is essential for child's growth, the external wealth also has its own impact in determining the growth of the child. He has also stated that money is needed for all those who wish to achieve anything in their life. I do agree that we should earn this money in the most ethical way. Then and only it will create the helping tendency by naturally. So I conclude that materialistic wealth is important to help others. Thank you. Now, the words of Judge Mr. S. Natarajan. Mr. C.S. Shankar has spoken smartly, choosing the Kurals from Poritpal instead of Arathupal. He has stressed the importance of money. Now, nearly 700,000 people have been affected with corona in USA. Though we do not know exactly whether the malaria drug cures this disease, we are able to import only because someone has invested and manufactured the product. Being a judge, though I have an opinion, I should not take sides. That's what I'm doing carefully. We have only invited the people who speaks about the topic from their own experience in this Pattimanram. In general, the professional speakers of Pattimanram will get the input from the others and they may not have experienced their content on their own. Here, C.S. Shankar has spoke from his own experience and it was excellent. Next speaker is Mr. K.Aanand from the team supporting physical health. Now, The words of Mr. K.Aanand. I thank the judge for spending time in preparing this content, which included beautiful poems. This was possible because of his physical efforts. Our opponent team Shankar spoke very well, quoting many Tirukkurals, but in my opinion, I would say, Yettu Surakai Karikku Udavadu, which means we cannot prepare or cook food using vegetables which is present as a text in a book. I greet the opponent team as well and my team members, Mrs. G. Janaki, Mr. Aravamudhan Sundar, Mrs. Kalpana Ramesh Chandran. Above all, I greet the audience who are watching this. I have came here to speak that physical help is the best help. Judge has planned for this Pattimanram in order to make the audience feel good during this lockdown time. See, even for this Pattimanram, we are just doing physical help for ourselves by just speaking, and we are not looking for any materialistic sweets for greeting. So even Judge stands by our side. Judge interferes here and said that he will send tamarind rice for everyone on a funny note. For that, Mr. Aanandan continued as below. Not needed, we are already greeting everyone with sweet words. Opposite team also supports our side since they also speak with their mouth and thinks by heart. I would say even the Lord Krishna stands by our side. Let me tell you the story of Kundalika. Kundalika always take care of her parents. Lord Krishna was standing in front of the home and was calling her name Kundalika, Kundalika. In return, Kundalika asked Krishna to wait till she completes her current work of taking care of parents. When she came out to meet Lord Krishna, she apologized for being late and made him wait. But you know what Krishna said? Doing favor physically by taking care of your parents is the greatest deed. I will stand here to watch that. So through this story, we realize that even Lord Krishna stands by our side. People think that Lord Venkatachalapati of Tirupati gives blessings for the money we deposit in the undial. Not like that. He blesses us only for traveling a long way through our physical efforts in order to meet him. Once in my lifetime, I have stayed there making service to others for 7 days. They provide the food and accommodation to do that. You know what? On doing that service to others for 7 days, I felt like being in heaven. When I told this incident to my friends, one of my friends said that he will spend some 5,000 rupees, pick a cab and have the Lord Darshan and he will return in a single day. So, not all the people feel the same. I would like to quote a beautiful Arab proverb. Life is never so busy that there is no time to serve. We all knew that what happens in the society nowadays. Youngsters are shifting their parents to the luxury old age homes. But when asked about comfort, the elderly people would say we have everything here but not the happiness. Instead of this, imagine if a son takes care of his parents by taking them for a walk or to a temple or to a musical concert, they would feel happy and blessed to have such a kind son. Parents expect only the small helps like spending time with them and not any other thing. They expect only affection. Mr. Shankar said about his company and owner's investment. Imagine what will happen to his money if the 450 employees do not contribute their physical service. He may need to shut down the factory then. So, only through the physical efforts of the employees, both the employee as well as the shareholder are getting benefited. Everyone cannot be rich in this world, so the poor people useless. No, it's not like that. I would like to quote the following lines. No one is useless in this world who lighter the burden of others. So, everyone can keep their heads high in the society if we are able to do the physical help, even if we don't have money. One can go to the old age home and listen to the words of the people residing there. You don't have to speak, just listening for 10 minutes itself is a huge form of help. History remembers the people who do the service like Mother Teresa and not the ones who donated money. Even our opponent team Shankar could not quote any such personalities. That's why he went back a long way to quote Karnan from the epic Mahabharata. Mother Teresa also stated that more people in this world have the hunger for affection than the hunger for bread. So we need more people to serve. Serving others is the most satisfactory form of help. With that, I would conclude my speech so that other speakers can. Mr. Aanandan was a retired general manager from Coal India. After retirement, he is currently keeping himself free from the work by joining in bhajans. Judge talks about Atma. He says every soul needs some time to go in search of its purpose. Only few does this, but most of the people die doing their jobs. He also says that we should spend at least half an hour for ourselves. Now, his words. Mr. Anand then spoke well with the story of Kundarikan and how Lord Krishna himself came to see him. He also said about the necessity of physical efforts made by the 450 employees to make both the investor and employee successful. That's a valid point. I would like to share some knowledge regarding capitalism here. It has four segments. First one is capital, second is human resources, third one is the consumer, and finally, fourth one is the environment. Nowadays, there are plenty of investors who are trying to satisfy the needs of customers considering the impact to the environment. There will be some situations where the investor will be pressurized to get back his invested money during when people like Mr. Anandan will feel the stress, and that's why he opted out from his after retirement extension plans of this company. Next speaker is Mr. Rishikesh Bhattar from the team which speaks for the materialistic help. Next, let's hear the words of Mr. Rishikesh Bhattar. Greetings. Vayundam means not searching for the things we don't have, it's being happy with what we have. This kind of Pattimanram is new for me. Greetings to one and all present here. This world belongs to animals, birds, and other creatures also along with the humans. God has given this wealth to live happily, sharing with all. There are many problems came before to the creatures of earth, but we didn't care. Now we are caring because Corona is affecting the humans and we don't have vaccines to prevent this. During this time, if we wish to help others, we can do. We can do the physical help only to the old age or disabled people who cannot take care of themselves. Even for them, you can help only with materials. Consider if you are a doctor and a patient comes to you, you cannot ask the patient to stay strong and pray to God. You have to give the medicine so that he gets cured. If someone feels hungry, you have to feed them and cannot console them with your words. For that, we need materials like rice, pulses, and much more. To buy these, we need money. You can do the physical help only by meeting the receiver. But materialistic help can be done indirectly too. One can do the physical help only if he is physically strong. For that, he needs to eat well. Thus, he needs materialistic support. Physical help is limited, but materialistic help is unlimited. During this lockdown period, we can help the needy by giving essential things, providing them accommodation, and helping them to buy their medicines. For everything, we need money. If we wish to donate, then we should do that unconditionally. We should not upload them in Facebook. Nature has given this wealth to be shared by all. It has given everything like cereals, pulses, unconditionally to us. If you share things unconditionally without any expectation, then it will do good for this world. We have many pain like hunger in this world. To cure all those pain, we need materials. If you give a book to a child for his education, then it's a form of help. See, during this current lockdown period, it's very tough to do the physical help. But we can donate to the charities and they can help the needy. You can see in ancient temples like Tirupati, Naivedyam is prepared in large 108 vessels. The purpose is to feed the devotees climbing the hills to meet the Lord. Giving prasadam in temples, we should call them as prasadam distribution and not as an offering because we offer something to someone having some expectation. Once again, I would like to say doing physical help has many restrictions, but the materialistic help is possible in most of the situations. Physical help is not possible even during this corona crisis if we have health issues like asthma, diabetes, or you being old. But anyone can spend money to charity. It does not matter whether it's 100 rupees or 10,000 rupees. It will do wonders to the society. As the previous speaker said, now if the factory owner feeds his employees in this difficult time, his employees will definitely pay back to the growth of the company through their hard work. Even in Mahabharata, Lord Krishna has showed us that we need material to win the war. So irrespective of the result of this Pattimanram, I would like to send a message to everyone that we should live with true compassion. Prayers do have their own power. Even now, the clouds rain only with our prayers. I wish everyone live with Lakshmi Kadaksham, which means let everyone be blessed with wealth and let that wealth be useful to everyone. Thank you. Now, the words of the judge. Mr. Rishikesh home is named as Vaikundam, so he is a Vaikundavasi. He spoke well that physical help cannot be done at all the scenarios. Indirectly, he also conveyed that if someone tries to do everything on their own as physical help, then it will create other disturbances. He also quoted how temples distribute food and make the materialistic help. He also mentioned that physical help is needed for those who cannot take care themselves on their own. He has stressed the importance of money. On hearing his speech, I feel even Lord Narayana is conveying the same. Let's see what the next speaker, Mrs. G. Janaki, conveys. Life. That means what we do with our body to help others is the best practice. Let's take the present lockdown situation. The people who have returned from the foreign countries have been home quarantined. Though they have enough money to buy stuffs, they need a volunteer to bring things from the shops to their home. Money cannot act on its own. Human needs to use the money and make things happen. Let's think about our freedom fighters and leaders Mahatma Gandhi and Jawaharlal Nehru. Both of them are born in well-to-do families, but the history is remembering them only because they fought for the freedom using their brains, devising strategies like Ahimsa of Gandhi and other policies of Nehru. We know how Swami Vivekananda transformed India by motivating youngsters to be physically strong, and even now he is transforming through Ramakrishna Mission's activities. He didn't ask us to increase the materialistic wealth in order to change this world. Now, India has sent some 12 doctors to Kuwait to treat COVID-19 patients. Though Kuwait is rich in its materialistic wealth, they are in need of efficient doctors who can tackle this pandemic situation. Opponent team speaker said about the importance of rapid testing kits. Rapid testing kits won't work on its own. We need a selfless doctor who knows the technique of using that kit for screening the larger population. For treating this pandemic, we need selfless doctors, nurses, and medical staffs more than the money. Materials are needed and have their importance, but they make their impact only when they are used properly. A material gets its meaning only when it is operated and used physically. Opponent team speaker said that the producer investment of high budget is essential for the success of the film. No, it's not like that. A movie's success depends on its cast and crew. The efforts and performance of actors, side actors, director and music director's touch will do the wonders. If the technicians didn't perform well, then the producer will lose his money. Think about Kamarajar. He didn't have degrees but still became the kingmaker for India. When you consider marriage more than the money involved, we need people to make it happen. Recently, I attended a marriage invited by a family friend in one of the largest venues of Tamil Nadu. Though it had all of the materials, only the words of host who welcomed us with the greetings gives us the satisfactory feel. As people already mentioned, more than sending our elders to 5-star old age homes, what we feed them, keeping with us, doing the physical help by taking care of them will give the soul satisfaction. Thiruvalluvar has also stated, "Kalathinar செய்த உதவி சிறிதெனினும் ஞாலத்தின் மானப்பெரிது," which means timely help is weighed more than the size of this world. During our Chennai floods, when water got through the homes, it is the volunteers who came first to save the life and not the materials. So first, we need physical help. Materialistic help can be followed after that. Even now, more than the materialistic help, we need the selfless doctors and nurses who take care of the patients boldly in isolation wards. COVID-19 is a virus and money can't do anything before that. Even the Britain's PM, when infected, need to be get treated in the isolation ward. President Trump said that he won't lock down since he focused more on economy. Now you can see how the death rate is getting increased in United States of America. Meanwhile, our PM Modi said that the life of citizen is more important than the economy. Judge intervenes here, stating that Australia is taking care of both the citizen and economy, and he thanks Australian government for that. Replying to the judge's comment, Mrs. G. Janaki continued as follows. Saving life and economy at the same time is possible only when the country is highly developed, or has less population. In a highly populated country like India, things will get worse if the viral infection spreads. So our PM Modi ordered for complete shutdown very early. He mentioned that we incur a loss of rupees 40,000 crores for one day of lockdown. But he believes if we have the Indian minds healthy and strong, we can rebuild this economy in no time. So saying this, I conclude my speech. Thank you. Now, the words of the judge. Mrs. G. Janaki spoke strongly, stating the importance of help made through the physical help is the best. She conveyed, when there is no life, then there will be no need for the money. Next speaker is Mrs. Latha Krishnamurthy. I have heard her strong speeches. Let's see what she conveys here. Now, the words of Mrs. Latha Krishnamurthy. Greetings. I am going to speak supporting the team materialistic help is the best. பொருளில்லார்க்கு இவ்வுலகம் இல்லை, அருளில்லார்க்கு அவ்வுலகம் இல்லை. People who have experienced this situation will realize the importance of its meaning. We should not live a common life. We need to achieve something. In order to achieve something, we definitely need materials. We need to help others considering their true situation. காலத்தினாற் செய்த உதவி சிறிதெனினும் ஞாலத்தின் மானப் பெரிது. If we help others following this Tirukkural, then life will be good. First example is hunger. One needs food to eat at the time, and not someone who comes and says that they will do the physical help and so can you please wait. No, hunger doesn't discriminate between rich and poor. To buy food, we need money. Secondly, let's take education. Education makes the person to live in a good manner. Helping the poor kids for their education will help them to live their life. Opponent team speaker said that Gandhiji and Nehru did only the physical help. No, they had spent most of their wealth also to others, but that will not be showcased. Judge intervenes here, stating that Motilal Nehru has given his Bhavan to the country. And there are people who criticize that they have taken the country in return. Let's keep the politics aside. Now, Mrs. Latha continues her speech. Mother Teresa has built an ashramam with the fund she received. But the thing is, her materialistic help are not as visible as her physical help. So great leaders have also made the materialistic help. Karnan had did the materialistic help at his best. If we do the materialistic help wholeheartedly, then it is the best field. ஈதல் இசைப்பட வாழ்தல் அதுவல்லது ஊதியமில்லை உயிர்க்கு. As per this Tirukkural, as long as we live, we need to do some sort of materialistic help. If we wish to go out of our home, we need to choose between the cab or bus. For all that, we need money. Opponent team Aanand said that he is spending his retirement life doing bhajans. It's possible only because he has earned his materialistic wealth during his work life. So he was able to enter into the spiritual life only because of his hard-earned wealth. When my son was about to attend the counseling for engineering college admission, Mr. Sankar helped him buying the books and dresses. Along with that, he gave him rupees 5,000. He also helped my son in choosing the proper domain. Now, after excelling in his studies, he is pursuing a successful career. For him, that help might be small, but for us that was a greater help. Money is definitely needed to live in this world, and we cannot deny it. With this opinion, I conclude my speech. Thank you. Next, the words of the judge. Thank you, Mrs. Latha Krishnamurthy, for your speech. We need money for every minute in this life. She queries how someone can get education without money. That's a good question. Next speaker is Mr. Aravamudhan Sundar. Welcome, Mr. Aravamudhan Sundar. Now, the words of Mr. Aravamudhan Sundar. Greetings to all. My greetings to the judge, Mr. Natarajan, who is conducting this online Pattimanram in this difficult period. Yesterday only I got the call from the judge to participate in this Pattimanram. I am not a manager or director to boast about myself in the introduction. The team who speaks about supporting the materialistic help should realize that the help made with the money and things are common. When we do the physical help, realizing the need and importance at the right time to the deserved person, then both the giver and recipient of the help will get the satisfaction. We can't get this satisfaction by giving the money to someone just because we have it more. Mrs. Latha told that providing food is a great example of materialistic help. For that, there will be a physical effort of cook in preparing that food. One should realize that. Mother Teresa had built many hospitals which treated the poor, which is again a form of physical help done by the doctors. When earthquake happened in a country, few of my friends went there to the spot to help the needy with the relief materials. In doing this, they got the satisfaction. They wouldn't have felt the same when they have just transferred the amount, like Rishikesh Bhattar said. As said by the others, during this lockdown period, only the volunteers are providing the medicines to the elderly people who can't go out in this situation, which is a form of a physical help. The materialistic help stays in the minds of the recipient only temporarily. For instance, if you are providing a bag of rice to someone, and if another person gives 4 bags of rice, then the recipient will forget about your 1 bag donation. It does not stay longer. During my school days in Mylapore, I was part of NSS. I belong to this traffic controlling team. In that, my work is to help the elderly people to cross the roads. I did that, which is a form of physical help. When you are standing in a queue and if you see elderly people next to you, allow them to buy their things. This is a form of physical help. It doesn't matter whether they are buying 4 or 40 things. Judge intervenes here, stating that what he said is exactly correct. There is no smaller or bigger form of help. Whatever the help done at the right moment is the best one. Now, Mr. Aravamudhan Sundar continues. We know many people help others by donating their kidney and donating blood. You said that the hospital will get money for the blood. But think, where does the blood come from? It comes from the body only. We should remember that. Nurses and doctors who do the first aid are all doing the physical help. When we donate money to buy food for someone, it may not reach the person who needs it. Instead, you will get a complete satisfaction if you prepare the food on your own and give it to the needy. Mr. C.S. Sankar said about the salaries of 50 employees as form of materialistic help. But they are just expressing a form of thanks through the salaries for the physical efforts made by the employees. Yes, Janaki of my team said, it does not matter how many crores of budget is invested, only the efforts of employees behind that matters. You guys would have seen how China's manpower was able to build 2 hospitals in a short time of 10 days. Judge intervenes here, stating that he too saw those videos and nothing can equal those physical efforts made by the laborers who worked like machines. Now, Mr. Aravamudhan continues. In spite of having the fear of getting infected, the physical help made is greater than anything in this world. Though government spends money, it can't be utilized without the work made by the people. Mrs. Janaki has spoken clearly, covering most of my points. Everybody spoke quoting Tirukural, Devaram and Sanskrit quotes. I didn't do that because Judge has already done that during introduction. Think about the physical efforts of the teachers who are tutoring the students. Most of the community training teachers in the foreign countries don't receive anything as salary for teaching. If you give something which you love to others, then it is a form of physical help. I don't agree if you give that one extra item you have in your box to others and say it as help. Money and food are common things. Help made with these two are temporary. Here in Sydney, it is a usual practice every year where the communities here collect money through my events in which I host and sing along with my team. The fund raised here will be used for various purposes like buying medical equipments for hospitals and science lab equipments for schools. I feel happy that this fund is raised through my songs, that is, through my physical efforts. In my opinion, material is a final product. The origin of that materialistic help will always be a physical help. We also get the satisfaction from our concerts when the community fund raised is given to the research scientists who work in cancer curing medicines. Similarly, we have raised money for various purposes here in Sydney. Physical help is not just lifting and positioning huge bags. When you give someone a direction in the road, when you go out and get something for the person who feels difficult to do that, then these are all the forms of physical help. I conclude my speech saying that only the physical help we do, which is a combination of love and materials, will last forever, whereas the materialistic helps are temporary. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. With this opinion, I conclude my speech. Thank you. Now, the words of the judge. Judge was speaking without unmuting. Mrs. G. Janaki intimated that through the signs. Judge realized it, and after unmuting, he continued his words as follows. This is a form of physical help where Mrs. Janaki helped me realize I didn't unmute. Sorry for that. I know Mr. Aravamudhan is in the teaching line for already 7 years. His concerts involves the physical effort of many singers and others. He has conveyed that money is just an outcome of the physical efforts made. I appreciate this. Next speaker is Mrs. K. Padma. Let's see how she rebuilds her team's stand, which was destroyed by Mr. Aravamudhan Sundar. I feel little confused now to choose between two teams. Let's see what Mrs. K. Padmavathy speaks. Now, the words of Mrs. K. Padmavathy. Greetings to all. I have been working as a commerce teacher for the past 3 decades. I can say it for sure from all the students I taught, their fundamental need is economy. Only the hungry people knows the value of food. During the Chennai floods, when the water entered into our homes, people went to the terrace for survival. When the food packets were thrown from the air to them, they first relieved from their hunger. That food packets served the purpose for that moment. Being worked as a teacher in a government school, I had seen the petty faces of students who are economically poor. During the festival times like Diwali and Pongal, if the festival comes on Sundays, they will buy the dresses only on that Saturdays. We teachers felt bad and gave amount for students who can't afford to buy the dresses. One of my old student who lives in a village is providing food for the people living there. This is possible only because of the presence of materials along with our efforts. Many people have visited our city Erode and bought many dresses and blankets and delivered it by themselves to the people in Kadalur and Chennai during the floods, which is a form of materialistic help. During this tough phase, not everyone will be doctors, nurses, and policemen who are the frontline warriors, but still there are people who are donating things to others. World is seeing more Karnans now. Even people like us sitting inside our homes can do only the materialistic help. Mr. Aanand said that the employees of Mr. Shankar's company are doing favor. No, they are doing their duties for which they receive the salary. They said that the words of consolation is enough when they visit a old age home. But in my opinion, it's not the case. When you leave people, they will talk behind your back saying that this guy couldn't even bring some fruits for us. He just came with the words. That's the reality. Mrs. Janaki said about the physical help in marriages. Nowadays, all the marriages are carried out by the contract managers. They wouldn't have come into the picture if relatives are doing their physical help. When we take special classes in the evening time for 2 hours from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m., we teach the dull students of class 10 and 12. There will be some 150 members. In order to make them fresh to listen and study without hunger, we plan to provide them evening tiffin. With the help of the teachers, Panchayat members, and alumni association of our school. This is the much needed materialistic help which would help our teaching efforts to reach the minds of the students. I have seen many students who couldn't even stand in the morning prayers due to hunger. That's why we gave importance for providing snacks for them at least in the evening when they attend special classes. Now, the students who have studied here have reached good positions in their career and are now replicating this help to their juniors. Then I realized more than the physical help which you made to them by teaching, they remembered the way we removed their evening hunger. That's the example of materialistic help which is lasting for years. So materialistic help is needed. Now, the employee of a private and government sectors are donating their one-day salary to the relief fund. Even the daily wages are contributing. We have seen how few kids have given their undial savings to CM's relief fund through the awareness they gained about the situation from their parents and teachers. If a 10-year-old kid is doing this, then if he gets old, India will be in the safe hands. Physical help can't be done by all. I fear that I might have low immunity and I feel difficult to do the physical help. But I can donate money and monitor whether it's going to the needy through the proper channel. United States of America is a developed country who wouldn't have realized India's potential. But now, through the export of medicines and drugs, we showed them who we are and what we are capable of. I can proudly say materialistic help will definitely meet the needy hands. Not all will be the cheaters, and there will be definitely humanitarians who will make it possible. Even Lord Krishna have given only the dress to Draupadi, for which she thanked him a lot, which is a form of materialistic help. He did not do any physical help. Now, I am sure the judge would have convinced that materialistic help is greater. Now, the words of the judge. Excellent. You have made the points about Krishna which no one mentioned before. It's good that your students took you as role model and they are providing evening snacks like you people did. This shows more than the words, kids follow our actions. I thank you for your service to students and for speaking here. It's good to see how the speakers have prepared their content in a very short span of time for this Pattimanram. Let's see what the next speaker conveys. Welcome Mrs. Kalpana Chandran. Now, the words of Mrs. Kalpana Chandran. My Tamil New Year wishes to everyone. Thanks Mr. Natarajan for allowing me to speak at the last. I feel nervous on hearing the excellent speeches of others. I learned Hindi as my second language and not Tamil, but still I have noted few points to speak. It's unfortunate for Mr. C. S. Sankar as every other opponent team speakers are targeting him. Mrs. Janaki spoke most of the points I wished to convey. We know how great the Europe and USA when it comes to their economical power. Most of us would have dreamt to go there. But now, what helping them to control the pandemic situation is the physical efforts and hard work of the doctors, nurses and other workers. Even in our country Australia, the balance this government provided in solving both the medical and economical issues served goodness for the people. Mr. Shankar said about producers' role in making the movie hit. But we know how many big budget movies which didn't go well in the market, whereas the low budget ones with good script or good music or good actor and actresses have succeeded. Only the volunteers have that heart to do selfless service. NGOs are doing services, but it's possible for them to do the materialistic help only by the huge amount of money they receive. He said hospitals charge money for the blood, but we know how many free blood donations are happening in our society even through our SOI organization. Many lives are being saved through the free blood donations. Aren't they come under physical help? Our team, Aanand sir, told about the Pandurangan story beautifully. And he also stated that Ete Surakai Karikku Udavadu, which is very correct. Many people are not coming forward to do the physical help. And so, they are donating money thinking that money will solve all the issues. Judge intervenes here, speaking as follows. Along with few others, I used to go to an old age home. I have spoken to the elders there and what they felt is that they lost their life thinking that money is the important factor of life. They felt bad that they are not able to live with their families now. Now, Mrs. Kalpana continues. Yes, I agree, sir. The happiness they receive by interacting with the volunteers who spend time with them is always special. As Judge said, Mr. Rishikesh Bhattar is really a Vaikundavasi. He said that old people can't do the physical work. But you guys would have seen a video being circulated in social media, in which a 94-year-old woman has stitched and distributed nearly 1,000 masks to the people on her own. So if you wish by heart to do something, then age doesn't matter. One can do the help as per their strength. As said in Bhagavad Gita, the help done without any expectations is the real service. They spoke about temples' prasadams and how God is just blessing with the hands. In my opinion, prasadams depends on the taste buds of the devotees. If we wish to have puliodarai, then it becomes prasadam. If we wish to have payasam, then it becomes prasadam. They said in Tirupati Annadanam, it is made devotees, which is a form of materialistic help. But even the Tirupati temple is closed now. So that point didn't work out. When you take Mahabharata, Lord Krishna, a Maharaja, donated all his materialistic power and strength to Kauravas, and he himself went to support Arjuna as his chariot's driver. Only because Arjuna had him as Sarathi, Pandava was able to win the war. Most of my points have been covered by Mrs. Janaki. Let's take Mahakavi Bharatiyar. He didn't try to make money with his poems. Instead, he used it to motivate the women. He explained about woman empowerment through his poems. Though he struggled economically, he helped the less fortunate people a lot. As Janaki ma'am quoted the difference between the Modi and Trump. One opted to save lives and other opted for economy. Now everyone can witness the high death rate in the United States of America. Here, in Satya Sai organization, people are donating money to prepare food for the needy under the plan Narayana Seva. While I was living in Pollachi, a town in Tamil Nadu, I know a old lady who used it to prepare food for needy and distribute it in an auto. Natarajan Sir told about the Motilal Nehru's donation to the country. But what happened after that only was the dynastic politics in the name of Rajiv Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi happened in India. I couldn't resist to mention this here, though I didn't want to touch politics. Mother Teresa not only donated but did a great service by treating many patients whom the people are afraid to go near. People told that Mr. Aanand was able to sing in the bhajans after his retirement only with the money he earned during the working period. But everyone who read the history of Shirdi Sai Baba, people will know how he lived simply by helping others. And regarding the China's effort in building hospitals in 10 days, it was possible only because of the hard work of laborers. Aravamudhan sir told about his musical concerns and charities. That is the true form of physical help. Mrs. Padmavathy told about the bed sheets collected from Erode during the flood times. Wasn't collecting and delivering the blankets to the right person traveling a long distance a service? She also told us about her team's materialistic help to the students by giving them evening snacks. She do mention about the people who fainted during the morning prayers. Who gave them first aid? Doctors and nurses who did that is a form of physical help. They didn't expect anything in return. They did it voluntarily. We run a medical center here and we know how doctors and nurses are working tirelessly saving people they are not doing just for their salaries. Recently, I read a research article which says the longevity of human life is extended up to 40% when he or she does a social service for about 200 hours in a year. The people who did the service were stress-free, happy, and had a good sleep. In general, kids who respect our parents till age 13 will behave differently during their teenagers. They feel that their generation is not being understood by their elders. Suddenly, friends will have more impact on their lives, all because of the hormonal changes. When the teenagers are motivated and guided to do social service, they will have developed mental maturity, which will serve as a good foundation for their future. They will get the thoughts to help others. This was also said by a research paper. When we do the physical help, we get an identity, self-confidence, and soul satisfaction. Money and materials can never match this feel. I conclude my speech saying that we can get only the economic development through materials, but the happiness, peace, satisfaction will be given only by the physical help we do. Thank you. Now, the words of the judge. Well done and thank you, Mrs. Kalpana. I don't have to recall and speak about all the speakers since you have done that. What you said is exactly true. There is a foundation named Exodus which provides food for the homeless people here. They do it morning as well as evening through a vehicle. I used to work with the team before the government ordered to use a proper chef and a proper cooking team. You know what? Foundation receives many materials easily, but there will be 5 to 10 volunteers who involve themselves in chopping the vegetables and cooking and complete the process. In this kind of help, we are able to involve all the generations. When my daughter said that she wishes to donate money to some person for buying a small vehicle, I told her that we shall go in person and donate that material, which will give satisfaction, and also the money will be saved from the middleman. Now, I would like to get the summaries for 1 minute from both team leaders. You guys decide among yourself whom to come first. When Mr. Sankar told the person speaking second has the advantage of making counterpoints, this time he wishes to speak second. Mr. Aanand agreed to speak first this time. Now the words of Mr. Aanand. When we spoke first, we completed our speeches quickly so that the rest of the speakers will get time. Now also, judges have given only 1 minute. Most of the counterpoints for the opposite team were clearly made by Mr. Aravamudhan Sundar and Mrs. Kalpana Ramesh Chandran. I would also like to make few points now. Let me start countering Mr. Shankar's words. He told that the relief materials are needed for their rehabilitation during floods. But before that, one should be alive. When they cried for help, only the volunteers helped and kept them alive. If there were no volunteers, many people in India would have died in floods. We have less death rate when it comes to floods in India, which is possible only because of the volunteers. You told about producers having the major share in celebrating the success of a movie, but when you realize how Kamal Hassan's productions was failure in the beginning, then his combination with Crazy Mohan made their dramas successful. Rishikesh Bhattar told that not everyone can do the physical work, but even the elderly people can share their experience, which would certainly help others. Now, the physical labors are available, but the persons who give moral support with words are rare. We can do that with our words, which is a form of physical help. I would quote again the words of Mother Teresa that more people have the hungry for affection than the bread. Mrs. Padma spoke about her service to the students. Hunger is common for both the humans and animals, so food is a basic need for everyone. What makes human different from them is the mind with which we think. We can do more help with that. Not everyone will be rich to do the materialistic help. Then Mrs. Latha told that I worked to gain materialistic wealth, which made me to do bhajans now. No, working was my duty, so I did that. Now, after 60, I have come to bhajans. If I have wished to gain more materialistic wealth, I would have continued as advisor, but I didn't. Mrs. Kalpana told how happiness and peace are gained by helping others. Even the musical therapy gives happiness. I would like to share one of my experience here. One of my relatives were not in good touch with our family. One day, when their parents were out of town, their daughter got fits and she was admitted into the hospital by a neighbor. Then, knowing she was a Tamilan, their neighbors called me and informed the situation. My wife and I took care of her for a couple of days without any hatred. When her parents returned, they joined with us, forgetting all the bad past which broke the relationship. Now, with our physical help, we were able to regain our lost relationships. We spoke about contract manager in marriages. Why did they come? They came just to do the physical help. Since the joint families broke and had chosen the path of being nuclear for the sake of earning money, this money brought the difference. People who are rich are just showing off with their money during such luxury events. Look at the poor people. They are organizing their functions happily, helping each other. We are just looking the rich and not the poor who are living happily. Opponent team said that even God gives the money. I don't want to contradict that. Consider the situation. If you are looking for an alliance for your daughter, you just pray to him, and on seeing your efforts, the God blesses and good things happen for your children. Even I have collected some quotes of Sai Baba, but considering the time and knowing that the opponent team members are Sai devotees, I don't want to share those quotes here. Let's see what the opponent team leader conveys now. Now, the words of Mr. C.S. Shankar. I don't have much to say. Our team Mrs. Latha and Mrs. Padma have given proper responses for the opponent team leader. Most elderly people who were not taken care properly in homes will feel good in old age homes when they have the proper companions there. In order to live, the money is needed. Even the freedom fighters collected money. Swadeshi movement collected donations. Nehru and Mahatma sacrificed their materialistic wealth. Tata and Birla Group are always doing the materialistic help whenever needed. Even now, Tata has given 1,500 crores. The opposite team is not understanding the difference between physical help and physical work. Physical help in return gets nothing, whereas the physical work gets its remuneration. They spoke about the volunteers in flood, but think about the boats which came for the rescue. They were the materialistic help made by the fishermen. Leprosy foundations are there which take care of those patients by providing them medicines which are costly. They rely on the donations, and even I am contributing for it. People with helping minds should possess the materials, then only it will be helpful. Even the people working in NGOs need money. They get paid to do their jobs. Money is the guiding force to do the physical help. I got a call from an NGO that they couldn't find a donor for today's lunch since the regular donor is not able to pay through net banking. So, I paid them. When it comes to temple, there'll be a person who donates money to make things happen, and the rest of the people will engage themselves on Annadhanam and other services related to God. And in my opinion, bhajans are something which we do for our spirituality and peace. It cannot come under help. So again, I would ask the opponents to understand the difference between physical work and help, spirituality and help. When a person has a thought about whether his materials have reached properly to the needy after donating, then it is a true help. I have brought groceries last week to a labor group for rupees 1800. I'm practicing what I'm saying. What physical help can I do to them during this situation? When you get a pension amount of rupees 20,000, keep 10,000 for your expenses, 5,000 for your savings, and donate the 5,000 rupees to needy. With this thought, I conclude my speech, believing that judge will make a good decision. Now, the words of the judge. Thank you, Mr. Shankar. Now let's see what the young generation has to convey. Anush, you can speak for a minute about your opinion on this topic. Now, the words of Mr. Anush. What I would like to say is that financial help weighs more than the physical help, at least by 1%. We should remember that this debate is just a comparison. It is not making one as best and the other as worst. Because in the end, all charities will be physical charity. Person like Bill Gates earns per second, so he was able to do the charity. Of course, as Aanand sir told, anyone can do the physical help, but the materialistic help will give jobs for many social workers. The efficiency of money will be high if we donate to the organizations instead of doing it on our own. For instance, if I wish to prepare and donate food, the cost of the production will be high. Whereas, if many people donate to a kitchen and they purchase raw materials in bulk and load it in a single truck to deliver, then the efficiency of money will be high. Mr. C.S. Shankar intervenes here, appreciating Anush. Now, Anush continues saying as follows. I agree with Aanand sir that physical help gives that much needed connection. But when we get more income, then the materialistic help has to be preferred. People like us should do the materialistic help. Thank you. Mr. Aanandan also appreciated Anush. Then the judge calls Mr. Ravi, father of Anush, to speak. Now the words of Mr. Ravi. Everyone spoke well and Mr. Natarajan have coordinated this very well. I can't speak in pure Tamil. I guess the materialistic help has the organizational approach and is individualistic. The points I wish to convey were made by Mrs. Kalpana. Another speaker said that Krishna gave sari to Draupadi in that situation, and that sari was a materialistic help. But more than that sari, the divine presence of Lord Krishna at that moment was important. Every material belongs to him. He would have said to Arjuna that he is a king and won't come as a charioteer. But he drove the chariot for Arjuna and gave his blessings that helped Arjuna to beat Drona and Bhishma. Physical help needs more efforts. If I wish to donate, I'll just put a sign in a check and give. But the person who is collecting this travels for 2 hours, that too as a volunteer. His work is greater. During Kerala flood, many relief materials came to Ernakulam station, but only very few were there to distribute them to the people, which was the risky job. The last man who delivers is doing the greatest job. And the same was told to us through our Vedas and Lord Krishna. I conclude my speech with this point. Now the words of the judge. I appreciate both Anush and Ravi. I am now rewinding back to thousands and lakhs of years to find whom the history is remembering. It's not remembering the richest, but the ones who serve the people, like the President John F. Kennedy. Now the companies are doing charity only because the government is forcing them to do it. If we think ourselves as trustees of money which is made by God, we shall enter into the good books of the society. And if we think money is ours with our ego, then it will be difficult. For instance, if a task has estimated cost of 1 lakh, if a person sits and plans properly, then the same can be done with rupees 10,000. That shows physical efforts are the base in all the task. If someone says that they don't have the time to call and enquire, then that's not a help. Shankar told that he brought groceries and helped the laborers. That's acting on the moment, which becomes a greater form of help. When the person who realizes that everything happens with the blessings of the Supreme Power and not by them, then whatever physical help and materialistic donation they do comes under the help. As Mrs. Janaki told, this body is given to help others. It is wrong if we think that I have a strong body and I am helping others. Similarly, it is wrong if I think I have more money and I am donating it. Why? Because every creature is made by the God in this universe. When you go and see the stars in the sky, you will realize how many billions and trillions of stars are there in this Milky Way galaxy. So whatever we do in the name of the God is the best. We should not think about the charity we make, either physical or with the materials. If we think, then it will have its own outcome. If you have donated more money, then you will be born as a king in the next birth. We all people were able to meet together now only because of God's blessings. We all pray that we should not be reborn. I see the world through my deeds, whereas few will see it through others' deeds. What I would say is everything we do, remembering God like the droplets on the lotus leaves, then that is the best thing. Consider the situation if the rich donates 1 crore from his 100 crores and in another scene a student goes for a part-time job and earns rupees 10,000 per month. He spends 8,000 for his family needs and donated rupees 2,000. When asked about which is greater, Lord says that the person who donated his everything from the small amount he earned is the greatest. In this debate, it does not matter whether we are doing physical or materialistic help. If we are doing without thinking that we are helping, then it will reach God. This will help us realize the purpose of this birth. Sometimes people who are praying always will be in the side tracks, whereas people who have recited God's name only once will be near Him. This is because of their thoughts. Humans have only 2 choices. Either they can do good deeds and reach the divinity or go down as animals. In one incident with Sai Baba, when asked about his trustee being egoistic and how he is with him, he said that he was like this at least because of being with me, or else he would have gone worst. If I think I have made more physical effort, then I will be seeing a person who has done more than 100% efforts of mine. If I think I donated more money, then I will be seeing a person who does more than me. So I conclude that both helps are best, but the person who does it without any ego, having the thought that they are not doing by themselves, are the greatest. Thank you everyone for giving your time and participating in this Pattimanram.